guys, and welcome to the first little Divine Lilith Masterclass featuring Bart the cat. You right? Okay, so those who are not very well versed in Lilith, we're going to have a little backstory for the first video because there are going to be at least 10 videos in this, and I am going to mark them out and, you know, put my little titles and put my little part ones, part twos, whatever. So you will be able to, you know, jump ahead to things if you're kind of already versed on things. So Lilith usually starts out, because of the older depictions of Lilith, usually start out from the Jewish folklore. She's very, very prominent in the Jewish folklore. There's a lot of origin stories, and most of them are pretty controversial. That's why she's like almost never cited in the biblical terms, like at all. She is very much known as the first wife of Adam. Now, this is always a controversial topic, and I'm not going to argue with people in the comments. If you don't like it, go find another page. So, when Adam and Eve were created from the dust of the earth, and they were first meant to lay together, Eve refused to be on the bottom. She believed that she was made equally to Adam, so they should have, you know, they should have equality when it comes to sex, when it comes to showing their femininity, when it shows to dominance and codependence and like the divine union. So the divine union of the masculine and the feminine. Now, when we look at spiritual art, when we look at, you know, Wicca or spirituality in general, the art very much depicts usually standing up or sitting or something like that with a man and woman both being equal. This is about the equality between the man and woman, the masculine and the feminine sides of all of us. So it's not just simply a man and a woman. This can be any type of gender, any type of sexuality. She viewed that because they were equal, he should not have dominance over her. Dominance in a controlling way. There's a lot of different types of views of dominance, but she ended up fleeing the garden to be able to have her independence, to be able to be who she is and not being dominated by a man, not to be controlled and overpowered by a man who viewed that she was made and created for him. This is where the whole Eve thing comes in, where Eve was made from the rib of Adam and so therefore was created for Adam instead of them being created equal. Because otherwise, how are you going to say that, like, you're not equal and you can't have dominance over another human being if you're not, like, you know. But the story goes that there was 3 angels that were told from God to be able to go and bring her back, basically. He went in, he had to cry to God and was like, she won't do what she's told. So she left and she was found in a cave. And when they went to retrieve her, they found that she was bearing children. This was due to her independence. There's a lot of stories that say that she was out there sleeping with demons and stuff like that, so they don't actually really depict her in a non-confusing way, really. Some say that it's demons that she was sleeping with and that's how she bared the children. Some say that it was creation of her independence and her divine femininity. But these 3 angels, where is it? I've got it here. Sensei, San Sensei, confuse me, like, correct me if I'm wrong, it's like Samanjaloff. They went to go get her, found that she had bared children, so she was pregnant. And they said that if she didn't come with them, they would kill 100 of her children a day. So, to get revenge on the angels, to get revenge on God, to get revenge on Adam for trying to take away her independence and her power, she is said in the mythology, in the folklore, to rob children of life. So basically, SIDS, stillbirth, what is it called, crib death, all those type of things. And it was said that men, the boys would die within the 8 days. That's the whole circumcision thing, and the girls within 20. And I'm not quite sure about the whole 20-day thing, but I guess that could be something to do with the menstrual cycle. That could be viewed in so many different ways. I'm sure a lot of people will have information. She wanted to go back to the Garden of Eden because she believed she had a right to be there, because she did. She was born equal to Adam. She had a right to be there. So when she went there and she found that Eve was created for Adam, found them sleeping together and things like that, she went and took revenge. This is the story. I'm not going to sit here and say all of this is true. The story is that she took revenge on him by sleeping with him while he was asleep, so sexually assaulting him. We're not sure because it's depicted so many different ways, but that is how she stole his seed, so that she's able to create life all by herself without him, without his dominance, without being codependent. Then, because of this, because she stole the seed, this is why she is depicted as this person who creates sex dreams, who creates night erections and things like that. That's why she's claimed to be a succubus, because she took revenge on a man for trying to take her independence and her power, and it's depicted as sexual assault. But we don't actually know that. Like, we're not going to do that. We don't know if that's just men depicting her in that way so that they have a catalyst to demonize her even further. We don't know about that. But she, with this seed of Adam, she creates demons by masturbation. She creates demons by masturbation and erotic dreams, which is seen as like your demons and your shadows. So becoming too overly focused on material desire, becoming too overly focused on sexual desire and domination over women and the porn industry, all of this stuff kind of ties into it, because they're demons that are in your mind. Obviously, they're not real life demons. They're demons that you create. That's why there's this big thing around masturbation and creating this desire and this sexual lust all by yourself. So, sorry, I'm reading my notes too. For her freedom, she had to give up her kids, and so in revenge, she stole Adam's seed. Because she challenged the oppressive system of control and dominance and codependency, she was punished. She was punished by having her freedom taken, her home taken, her children taken. And while this is very much seen as a revenge game and tit-for-tat type of thing, what it is balancing out the system. Balancing out the system that you cannot steal someone's children, you cannot steal someone's power, you cannot take revenge on a person for not willingly giving over to control and dominance. Which is why when women kind of stand up for themselves, when they decide what they want to do with their own body, when they decide who they want to sleep with, they are highly demonized, which is why a lot of people who are low value, low vibe, always look at a woman's body count, but they don't look at a man's, because it's seen as a woman loses her value if she has a high body count, but a man's rises. A lot of this can play into the biblical stories. So, we are going to really talk now about Lilith in a sense of how to use that to empower yourself. Because a lot of the old stories depict her as a terrible person and a terrible this and a terrible that. So she is very much, when you're looking at the Lilith moon and things like that, it is around your sexuality, your fear, your anger, your rejection, your sexual trauma, your suspicions, and things like that. So to be able to bring yourself into a place of empowerment with your Lilith, it will uncover every hidden truth you have and every influence that you have that is not conscious. Your Lilith is very much your dark moon space. So when we want to empower ourselves with this, So to empower ourselves with this, self-reflection and journaling is probably my number one thing, because you can't really look at your demons, you can't really look at your shadows without first reflecting on yourself, because it's really easy to get triggered by other people, and most people will not take the perspective of, maybe there's a reason why I'm triggered. Maybe there's something inside of me that is identifying with what this person's doing or saying, or maybe what I'd like to do or what I'd like to say, and they get triggered by this. And so instead of taking that moment to empower yourself and self-reflect, they blame it on another person, which is very much depicted in the whole Adam, Eve, Lilith story. Like, you know, instead of Adam and God taking a moment and being like, oh, well, maybe this woman should have some say and some empowerment and have some control over herself and her body and her life. She's very much depicted as a demoness. She is very much depicted as, you know, a succubus, and someone who will use her body and her sexuality and her empowerment to woo over men and make them do whatever she wants, instead of realizing that she's actually an empowered woman who wants to make decisions for herself and have self-control and have control over her own life. So the ways that you can empower yourself to integrate your divine Lilith, one, I would be like journaling, self-reflecting, things like that. If you're into spirituality, you're into Wiccanism, any of those type of spiritual woo-woo witchy type of stuff, definitely look at your birth chart, look at your astral chart, find where your Lilith moon is, because if your Lilith moon is in a particular house, it will show you where those things, where that disempowerment, where that lack of control, where that anger and resentment is really hiding in plain sight. So a lot of people, especially people who, like myself, have dealt with sexual trauma in multiple different ways, it can really highlight the ways that you can heal from those too. So it's not just about uncovering the hidden truths and beating yourself down and going like, oh, I'm a terrible person because I've got these traumas and these wounds and I've got these type of reactions to particular things. But it's a way for you to bring yourself into a place of justice over a place of victimhood or resentment and rejection and suspicion and things like that. So a lot when we get paranoid, that's very much the word that's used. Instead of seeing it as suspicion of someone treating you in an imbalanced way, in an unhealed way, it's viewed as paranoia. Paranoia means that the thing that they're thinking is not real, that you are not connected to your intuition, you're not connected to your rights, you're not connected to you having an equal say compared to a man. So this is not just man as in man, it's masculine. So the masculine energy. So to be able to integrate those in, you're going to really have to face the mirror. That is the first step. Now I'm going to put a hold on this now because we've already done like 13 minutes. I don't want to make these too long. But the next step tomorrow will be really diving deeper into traumas, diving deeper into your sacral your root chakra, diving into the Kundalini energy and how to embody those in a healthy way without dominating anyone else's power. I hope you enjoyed that, guys. You have a great night.